Why, hello YouTube. I'm BalorMage and welcome back. We have something I haven't done before. Somebody else's build in the background here. Now, for those who have been following along at home or League, you may have seen my Inquisitor Spark build. And I invested quite a bit into it. And it was worth maybe, I think, around 80x by the time I was done. And it was fantastic and I loved it. However, I stopped there. And a regular from my chat named Goanguy, I think I've said that wrong. Goanguy, I don't know how that's said. Kept playing it all League. He kept playing it all League, and he just played only that build. He just invested and invested and invested and upgraded and upgraded and upgraded, and now we've got a build that's worth, our best guess is a little over two and a half, somewhere between two and a half mirrors. And it is the same build, but just disgustingly invested into. In the background here, you're looking at, I borrowed his entire character, head to toe, all the gear, all the jewels he was wearing, pulled my level 99 Inquisitor out of retirement and tried it out for a day just to play with it, and now we're covering it because that in the background there is 100% delirious, triple beyond, tier 16 maps, full sextants, 85 plus quantity. It's just breezing through it, like cutting through it like it's butter. It is the most fun I've had in a long time. You all know that I love Spark. The Inquisitor was my favorite Spark version, and this level of investment is insane. Before we get into the build, while we're watching this 100% delirious content, I have to say that from a pure power standpoint, compared to the level of investment, investing this much into a Spark build isn't actually worth it. It's worth it for one reason and one reason only, because it is pure fun, and I just enjoy Spark so much that makes it worth it. If you don't enjoy Spark so much and you had 2 mirrors to spend, this isn't the most efficient way to spend 2 mirrors. This doesn't get you the most powerful character. This is actually still relatively strictly only a mapping character. It can kill a 70 plus quant feared. It can do all the bosses in the game, but it's not super fantastic at it. Right? It just can, because it's 2 mirrors worth of investment. You just do enough damage now, but it is still not a bossing build. It still requires you to not quite get hit by literally everything, not stand in the one-shot mechanics, all that sort of stuff. So we're just showcasing it here. It's fantastic. I love it. And I'd like to just showcase how and where you would invest that much into a build like this, especially because it's one of my builds that's come forward. So moving into game, let's go over here. So this is the character now, same character as my other Inquisitor, 90 all res, block and spell block cap. I think we're actually like 1% off spell block cap, but don't worry about it. But the entire tree is different now. We've gone completely low life to squeeze in a pain attunement. It's in some very nice double cluster setup. This is about the most efficient tree we could come up with. We've been working on this all League, the exact same build, even to the point where we've actually come out these nodes, which is normally something we don't do normally. And in the past we did have it coming out down here, but we ended up needing just like a little bit of extra regen. And this was the only way we could get it, because we don't actually have the regen to exist without the consecrated ground. We do burn away all of our energy shield. If we keep moving and the consecrated ground stays off forever, we will eventually run out. Obviously, we always have consecrated ground because we're an Inquisitor, so we have more than enough regen to survive, but really only just, right? Luckily, it's still immortal, even in 100%. The Aegis Aurora does the trick. It does everything you could ever need to keep you alive. This build has some disgusting things on it though. Standard headhunter thing. relatively standard boots, right? These are the boots. These are the craftable boots that you can just make over and over again. So those aren't too special. Gloves, however, these are getting pretty special. These gloves have the pierce on them that we're after, the double pierce implicit that we're after, and we've been swapping the gloves between unnerve on hit or freeze prolif, depending on just testing both of them out. We ended up settling on freeze prolif just because it's nice to freeze prolif everything, but realistically either one of them didn't make a difference. The build has way too much survivability to need freeze prolif and way too much damage to need unnerve, so it doesn't matter. But also, and one of the things that makes this worth significantly more is it is a temple base, so that cold res is actually a hybrid that comes with, we've rolled it to 48% increased damage with hits against chilled enemies. That is a large damage increase, and it's temple drop only, which is why getting stuff like this ends up pretty expensive. Right, moving on, we've got Wrath Aura effect on the Call of Brotherhood. That adds a small chunk to it. Disgusting Ring. We ended up with a Wrath Aura effect and level 23 Purity of Ice in the amulet. Good way to get it to level 23. Still gets us all the res we need. Actually fantastic. We ended up with a life tap, Divine Blessing, Divergent Haste for more cast speed, more movement speed, and more projectile speed. So we tap that once every 10 seconds. It uses a chunk of our life, but don't worry, we almost never die. Well, actually, we never die. I'm 100% delirious all day, no deaths. And the buffs stay up forever, and we get extra proj speed, which means they're extra fast. That buff stays up, I think it's like 12 seconds or so. So you just tap it once every 12 seconds. The only thing you have to worry about is don't tap it while you're directly standing in the path of all the chaos spitters in an alva, because it does use up a majority of our available life, and chaos damage does go directly to the life. We regen it very quick. We've got plenty of regen, and we're always leeching from the Aziri's Promise as well. So like, you get that life back super quick, but if you're just standing directly in the chaos spitters projectiles, that could probably kill you. So don't do that. This thing has a double damage. Spells have 10% chance to deal double damage. Nebulous. It's enchanted too. These are great. But now, for the big ticket items, and the reason it's worth so much. Absolutely fantastic Blizzard Crown. This is now where Spark is. Level 25 hypothermia, 30% more elemental damage, 2% to crit. Now that mixed with the implicit giving you a bunch of flat cold, and Sparks fire 3 additional projectiles, and the level 21 Sparks, same as before, still the level 21 Spark, still the normal quality, because that mixed with the ashes gives us a lot of projectile speed, Divergent Inspiration, Awakened Spell Echo, and crit damage. Which leaves us with our chest open. Same implicits as before. Now it's made on a grasping mail with double crafted implicits. So we get the percent life and the life as ES on a grasping mail. This gives us a lot more armor and a lot more energy shield. Huge. Also, lets us put all of our auras in here with a level 4 Enlighten, which is a large part of how we fit so many extra auras in. Because now we get Zealotry, Determination, there's actually a Sigil of Power in there, Purity of Elements, and Wrath, all in the chest, all on a level 4 Enlighten, which means we've fit in extra auras. That's always great. Over here we end up with Divergent Tempest Shield to get all of our extra block, because we dropped all but one of the block wheels on the tree, and just a Defiance Banner on our life. Just a left click Molten Shell, so that we've still got Molten Shell running around. Technically don't really need that. I don't think we'd notice if we took it off, but one gem socket, we couldn't really find anything great to do with it, and it is still even without flasks it's 6.6k, but it ends up being 9.8 I think with flasks up, so it's still pretty good. a disgusting ring, and otherwise the only other thing that's worth a disgusting amount of money are the Sanctuary of Thought jewels. So there's an extra 20% of our mana as maximum energy shield, which is great, but not huge. But more importantly, 25% increased mana reservation efficiency and 50% less cost of spells. A spark now costs 8 mana, by the way. Smite is free. Sigil is free. Our Flame Dash or Frost Blink, we've been playing with both of them, costs 7. With the regen we have, impossible to run out of mana. Fantastic. Same deal with all these. 2 of the really good jewels. Sadist is a lot of damage. Snowstorm is a lot of damage. He's just put 2 of them in because they're the best. And just some, all these mediums are the same as before. They're the Pierce projectile speed and projectile damage cast speed. They all happen to have a little bit of dex on them, as much dex as it could fit, because the build is relatively dex starved. So we got all stats, dex, all fit in there. The only other massive change is that we do have a 3 passive reservation efficiency jewel here with a little bit of regen and energy shield. It's just to give us a little bit more mana efficiency. It's mandatory. Without it we can't fit everything in, but we are running now Wrath, Determination, Purity of Elements, Divergent Blood and Sand, Tempest Shield, Determination, Zealotry, and Purity of Ice. And we have the Haste on Life Tap. So it's become somewhat of a mini aura stacker, as most things do when you invest into them this heavily. But it's been incredibly fun to play. I will be sharing the path of building. This is not necessarily something I'm suggesting everyone does, but you can definitely go and have a look through it. It is just quite expensive. It's out of the price range of most people. And even if you do have 2 rares to spend on this top to bottom, the only real reason to do it is that you really like Spark and you want to play a Spark Inquisitor and you just have that much money to spend, right? This is not the most efficient way to spend your money. This is not the most powerful build that's ever existed, but it is really good. It is really good. At the end, tacked onto the end of this, I will put in my feared encounter, because I did do a 70 plus quant feared on this character just today. I will warn everyone, I am a little bit Pepega. I stood in things and got hit. The build did die. It was relatively tanky, but it's not quite face tank everything in a feared encounter. But it was successful and it did some good damage. So I'm pretty happy with it. The one other thing that I'm going to note, because I know somebody's going to complain about it, is why is your crit chance so low and why don't you have any crit on the tree? And the answer is, don't listen to Path of Building. We built a mapper for Delirious content. Delirious double and triple beyond content. And that means the Headhunter is going to crit cap us all the time. So here's the thing. If you just watch Path of Building, we can just drop this wheel and go from 13 mil and just put in this wheel and save a point, and suddenly we've got 15 mil. All right. And if we spend even just a point on this, you gain 300,000 DPS in Path of Building. But this isn't what we built the character for. We didn't build the character to have good Path of Building numbers. The character was built to have the best mapping experience that we could possibly give in the most juiced maps we could possibly do. And when you're doing that and you're wearing a Headhunter, you will be crit capped all the time. Those buffs will crit cap you. You have 100% crit all the time. And that means all the crit nodes in the world become significantly less useful. So we have built it for the in-game experience, not to show off Path of Building numbers, right? This is what it really looks like. I've really enjoyed playing it all day. I've really enjoyed looking at all of the things that we can do to min-max it. There's a lot in here. There's a lot of hidden costs in here. There is a little bit in the notes section here for things to watch out for, different options. You can actually set up an animate guardian instead of having the haste set up, and that thing, the only place it will die is the field encounter and wave 30 simulacrum. Other than that, it'll live everywhere, so you could use that for mapping as well. There are ways to get frenzy charges, there are all these other options, but the league is starting to wind down, and I believe that the person running this build has decided it's pretty much done now. So we're not going to see any further upgrades. All right, that's it. I will share the path of building below this video. I know this isn't a normal build guide. I know it's not accessible to everybody, but it's just really fun for me to watch. It was really fun for me to see what a stupid high level of investment would look like on one of my builds, and this is where it ended up. Lots of changes since then, lots of investment, super fun. I enjoyed it. I hope everybody enjoys looking at it and wishing they had 2 mirrors, because I don't have 2 mirrors. All right, I will see everybody next time. Bye. The third one's actually shit. Never mind. Never mind. Get wrecked. Ooh, it causes me the pain. Oh, cool. And the second dude? Bye. Yeah, around it started. I first started noticing that at about 27. I was like, the density. Like I start to see it falling off. Just because it's still got enough damage and tank and everything. It's just Pierce is missing a little. It's not bad. It's hitting that limitation of there's too many targets on my screen. Still doing a good job of killing the big guys though. Oh, what happened to my animate guardian? Did he die?